And it's interesting because last night you had Ed Werder of ESPN report that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys returned to the negotiating table. So last week, obviously, Dak Prescott, or I should say, heading to this year, he would be a free agent. Played his 4 years, contract is up, and the Cowboys decided to franchise tag Dak Prescott, which means that basically you sign him to a 1-year deal. The money is basically the average of the highest quarterbacks paid. That's the average of what he'll get, and it's all guaranteed. So basically, Dak Prescott was franchised by the Cowboys, and he will play for 1 year for about $33 million. But given the franchise tag does, at least it gives the Cowboys some time to negotiate a long-term deal. So they have until the summertime to talk with Dak and try to get a long-term contract hammered out. He's in Dallas for a while. And what I would do if I was the Cowboys, and part of the report that Ed Werder, again, was reporting last night, was that the Cowboys, it seemed like, Jerry Jones at least has spoken, and there have been thoughts that this contract would get done even going back to last year. Earlier in the season, Jerry talked about how a contract agreement was imminent back in September. Obviously, that was not the case. The two apparently are apart on both the amount of money per year and the amount of years. And so at least now that the Cowboys wanted Dak under contract for 7, I guess it seemed like Dak wanted a lesser contract so he can get back on the free agent market while he's still young, because the money for a franchise quarterback is only going up, especially the salary cap now with the new CBA signed. The money's only going to increase. And so Dak Prescott wants to cash in as much as possible. So he wants a shorter-term deal so he can get back on the free agent market and get as much money as possible. So now at least it's being reported last night that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are getting closer in years. Cowboys want to sign Dak Prescott for 5 years. Dak Prescott wants to be a Cowboy for 4 years, and then obviously reevaluate after that. But so my plan is at least saying that the Cowboys should honor what Dak wants, and this is what I mean by that. Dak wants a shorter contract. Give it to him. Do absolutely what the Redskins and Kirk Cousins did. Go the franchise route, go year by year. And this is why. I understand Dak Prescott had a career year last year, and the Cowboys offense had some success despite, missing the playoffs. But at least for me, I do not view Dak Prescott as a franchise quarterback. I don't. I could absolutely be wrong. Maybe this is only the ascent, and especially now with bringing in Mike McCarthy, you see the success that Mike McCarthy had with Aaron Rodgers, especially early on. Maybe you think that, at least I was on the boat, that I thought the Cowboys roster last year was very talented, and the head coach was holding them back. I thought he was too conservative, didn't give them a chance to win enough. And again, that's probably why the Eagles, despite having a million injuries, still won the division and won a huge game in Philly, Week 16, to clinch that division, again, as the Cowboys had a very, very disappointing year. But if Dak wants shorter terms, I would do it. I would absolutely franchise him and go year by year. You could franchise a player for 3 straight years, and obviously the money is going to increase every single year, but at least you're guaranteeing yourself, and you're not exposing yourself to being in cap hell and really having a bad contract with a quarterback that's not living up to it. Because at least to me, the worst thing an NFL team could do right now, with the way the salary for quarterbacks are ballooning, the way or how much of an importance the quarterback position is, not just in the NFL, but really in sports, right? It is the most important position in all of sports right now. So you have to get it right. To me, the biggest mistake an NFL team can make right now, in this day and age in 2020, is paying a quarterback franchise money, a elite quarterback money, when they aren't at that level. And it's easy to do now because you see these salaries continuing to balloon, and basically every young quarterback that's up for a new contract or a contract extension is resetting the market. So whatever the last guy makes, Russell Wilson was the last quarterback to sign a big deal. I believe it was 4 years, $144 million, if I'm not mistaken. He gets about $35 a year. So now $35 million a year is the bar set for the next round of young quarterbacks trying to get paid. Dak Prescott sees that. He wants $40 million. And you're going to have Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson get paid as well. And there's talk of Patrick Mahomes being the first $50 million quarterback a year. And he's worth it. He's absolutely worth it because he's a guy who elevates the team around him. He can play with whatever weapons you give him. He can make those guys better, similar to what Peyton Manning does, similar to what Tom Brady does. Give him an average guy, he'll make him above average. Give him a mediocre guy, he'll make him average. If you're going to pay the quarterback big bucks, they have to be the kind of players that can elevate an average guy to above average and make everyone around him better, not vice versa. Not having a great team around them that elevate the play of the quarterback. Personally, that's what I think is happening to Dak Prescott. I think he's a product of a situation which Dallas has smartly done, where they built their offensive line for years through the draft, signed them early on, so they signed them to contract extensions while they're still young, so you get them at a discounted rate. You bring in Amari Cooper, you have Ezekiel Elliott. So at least to me, I think Dak Prescott is benefiting more from the pieces around him rather than Dak Prescott elevating the play of those guys around him. That's how I feel. So with that being the case, I would not pay Dak Prescott 4 years, $40 million a year. I wouldn't do it. Because guess what? At least to me, I look at the Rams right now with Sean McVay and Jared Goff. Jared Goff, they give him a big extension, pay him a lot of money. He gets to the Super Bowl, had a great year in 2018, do not get me wrong. 2019 was concerning, though, because you saw Todd Gurley be in and out of the lineup, not being played or not getting, I should say, as much success as he did in the past. Obviously, you see him, now they cut him. And now you put a lot of big money in a few players, and right now Jared Goff seriously regressed last year. There's even some concern going back to 2018 that a lot of the success Jared Goff had was due in part to Sean McVay basically helping him read the defense, helping him put him in positions to succeed. And again, the running game was great. He had great weapons on the outside, and for the most part, played really well in 2018. But now you see they signed that big contract extension, and now all of a sudden, players are starting to become cap casualties because of this. I still think there's a lot of burn left in, there's still a lot of gas in Todd Gurley's tank. You're going to have to obviously significantly reduce the amount of carries he gets and the amount of touches he gets. I think, to me, despite the knee injury, he's still a valuable weapon and a valuable part of the Rams. But because they gave so much money to Jared Goff, and now they really need to give him some more weapons to try to elevate his play, Todd Gurley was a casualty of that, and they had to free up some money to sign someone else elsewhere. I view it where if the Cowboys give Dak $40 million a year, $35 million a year for 4 or 5 years, you're not going to be able to retain a lot of the players around him that lead to his success. Really, obviously, you have Amari Cooper, you got the long-term deal, and you have Ezekiel Elliott under contract for 8 or I guess 7 more years now, which I would be floored. I said this on Monday. We're talking about the running back shelf life. I would be floored if Ezekiel Elliott sees the end of that contract, maybe even sees half of that contract. Signed the 6-year extension with 2 years remaining, so he has 8 years left in Dallas, and again, now 7. He makes it to year 4. Good for him. That is a guy who really is cashing in on his contract. So at least to me, I think the Cowboys are making a huge mistake. They pay Dak Prescott like he's Russell Wilson, pay Dak Prescott like he's even Carson Wentz, pay him like he's going to be Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. And that's how you can really hinder your team. Because once you have a lot of money tied up in the quarterback position, and he's not the guy that elevates your team, that brings guys to a different level and makes your team overall better, the entire rest of the team crumbles. Because you have a huge chunk tied up in one position. That's not great. You need to bring in better players to elevate his play, and you can't do that because you don't have enough money to do it. So if I was the Cowboys, I would go year by year. I would follow the Kirk Cousins and Redskins route. He's going to get $33 million this year, which, again, is about market value for a franchise quarterback. Take it year by year. The salary cap's only going to go up now. With the new CBA signed, the salary cap is going to increase. So you still have cap flexibility to basically go year by year, where Dak's salary, even if you go year by year, is still going to increase pretty rapidly. And if I'm wrong, if the Cowboys are wrong, and he turns out to be a great fit with Mike McCarthy, turns out to be the reason why they are winning games, then sign him to a long-term deal. To me, that's exactly what I would do. Take it year by year, have him prove that he can be your franchise guy, and then pay him the money. I know he's not going to be happy. He probably is going to miss a lot of offseason workouts. He probably could even hold out of training camp. He's going to play. He has to play. And at least to me, I think that little ill will, that anger towards the organization will be worth it because, again, it's not worth paying him the money that he's not. You can't pay him to be the player you hope he is if he's not that kind of guy. You can't pay him to be a Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson if he's not that. You have to be careful about that, and that's why I think if I was the Cowboys, I would go year by year. You can do it for up to 3 years. So you have basically a 3-year runway to say, how can he fit in this Mike McCarthy offense? Is he the reason why we're winning games? And from there, if he's not, you can reevaluate in 2021. You won't kill your cap, and you can either draft a guy that you think will be or a good replacement, make a trade, sign. You have flexibility to basically pivot in whatever direction you want to at the quarterback position. And it's important for Dallas because I still think they have a very talented roster. I love their offensive line. Mark Cooper is a top 5 wide receiver. Ezekiel Elliott's a top 5 running back. They have DeMarcus Lawrence on the defensive line. I like their linebacker room. They have talent on many sides of the ball and in many different positions. And especially with Jerry getting older, Jerry Jones only wants to win. So his window is shrinking to see a Cowboys Super Bowl. So I don't think he would be shy if he doesn't think Dak Prescott is the guy. Poet, I didn't even know what that little rhyme. Don't be shy if he's not the guy. And move on if you think you can upgrade.